Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to a new live stream. My name is John Skippy Limcool. Hands together, head back. Welcome. Hey, so I have a big announcement. Unify 1.9.1 was released last night. And there's a whole bunch of stuff you're hearing that is new. We have not been able to do anything like this until now. So it's really exciting after 2 years to still have new tricks up our sleeve to show you guys. Good. Hey, I see some names. Hello, Daniela. Thank you, Daniela, for your review of Cutting Edge Synth Bass. I didn't sample Absinthe out of respect. I typically don't sample, especially a friend's. I might at some point make a library, but I would talk to Brian and work out some sort of a plan for reason for sampling Absinthe. I know it's no longer available and stuff like that, but I wasn't ready to bring out a library of that yet. Hello, Fred. Good to see you. Larry, Keith, Don, Ivar, Jolene. Hello from Sweden. Greetings over there. Hit the like, Simeon, my friend. Thank you so much. Good to see you. I'm going to get you a copy of this library, the bass library, so you can show it to everybody. So Simeon, since you're going to display this to everybody on YouTube, I will get you a copy. So thank you. Don't forget, if you leave a review for a library you've bought, you get a 20% off on your next purchase. So please leave reviews on libraries. It doesn't go towards discounts on already existed discounted plugins, libraries and stuff like that. Hey, Bill. Welcome. Good to see you. Hey, Bernie, Steve, Kasaka-san in Japan, Richard, E-Blue, Jam, Pad King. Welcome to you all and everybody else that shows up. This is a big one. I haven't done something like this before. Let me tell you, it takes a lot of work. We've released Unify 1.9, and I have released a library in support of some of the new abilities of Unify 1.9 with a library called Cutting Edge, which is just crazy, really, really, really cool. And if you look at what's going on, you're seeing ghosts in the machine. That's right. We can now do things like switch layers. If you look at the knobs, we have a knob that's kind of going crazy. And it's going crazy thanks to a new, well, this is actually when using a MIDI box with a MIDI CC. I didn't use CC Writer on this, but if I wanted to, not on this one. I'm not going to dive into this one to show you a breakdown. But I'd use all sorts of tricks to get switching, and halfway through making this library, Shane wrote to me on our chat and said, hey, I see what you're doing. I think I have something that I'm going to propose putting into Unify 1.9 that's going to make your life a lot easier. And I was like, oh, what's that? I anything to make life easier, right? And it turns out that he had been working, let's see, we want to get to 1.9. He's been working without really telling me that he had finalized an effect, a MIDI effect that he called CC Writer. And it was done and ready to go writing into the new world. So, this particular patch is using 4 of this effect. And it's this tiny little tiny guy. It's like, oh, he's innocent. He's cute. He's so tiny. But these little guys are quite potent because each of these are active LFO that can be sent out on any MIDI CC, including channel aftertouch pressure. So you can even have it send aftertouch in a certain shape. So many patches have aftertouch doing things and then you try to play it on your keyboard and you just can't control it. It's kind of like being in a rodeo and riding on a horse. It's not fun because keyboards have more of an after switch, you know. Here you can automate it. And if you look over here at the knobs, look at what's going on. These knobs are dancing. And then once they're dancing, all you have to do is go to the link parameters. And I can now go to any parameter of any effect. Here's noise box. I could choose any parameter and then modulate it. And not only that, my friends, but look at this. Every parameter can be modulated. It could be inverted so that one parameter is going in one direction while another is going in another direction. You can change curves. You can add multiple breakpoints. So every freaking parameter of any synthesizer plugin that's currently loaded in this Unify layer is red meat. I can modulate it and do anything I want to it. So in a patch like this, let's take a look at what's going on. DX'd. By the way, if you want a larger interface for DX, you can go to parameters, and right here, the UI scaling can be set to 150 instead of 100%. So it's a little bit bigger to see what's going on. But if you notice here, the frequency course and the output level of these two FM operators are dancing, and these are providing the tingle FM modulation frequencies that are being heard on number 3. So and if we wanted to, we could go down here, and I believe this is the DX. Check this out. This is the curve of modulation that's happening to the frequency course of operator 4. It's going all over the place. And you hear reverb splashes. There's a little delay thing and then a reverb thing. That's because I have set those up to the different knobs. The reverb splash, it sits there. It jumps around every now and then. So you can assign all sorts of crazy things to what you want. This is something that was not even possible in 1.8. This is just having two different Guru samplers. The same LFO is being modulating, but in one case, it's this direction. In the other case, it's the opposite. And I can click here. Now that one goes up high. If I want this one to go up high, I can just click on this. I can listen to hear where I want it exactly to go. When I let go, boom, stop. So it's that easy to get all sorts of fun things happening. So I have some examples of this. I fixed a whole lot of patches for 1.9 as well. Some of the things like Mellow Jaws, the pad, the original Mellow Jaws fades out, which if you define pads according to John Limcool, they never fade out. So this plays nice and fades out. And I was like, I don't know where in history that got changed, but it should be like this. It just sits. So I made a B version. I didn't want to touch the original because many of you guys have used these patches over the last 2 years, and I don't want to change factory patches in surprising ways that doesn't make it work in your song the way it used to. So instead, I'll make a new version instead of fixing this one. So the B is the same, but it's the Saints. And then the C version is more like a true pad, slow attack. Right? Same thing with 2, it would play and fade out, I believe. Right? That's not what a pad's supposed to do, so I made a version like this. So Hi, Stan. So the world premiere is Unify 1.9 that I'm showing, and also a new library that I'll be showing shortly called Cutting Edge Synth Bass, which is a new library of really, really cool synth patches in lots of different flavors and stuff like that. But CC Writer is the new effect that we have added into Unify 1.9. Let me show you. This is kind of a fun patch. I was trying to emulate wave station type patches. So this is a very wave station-esque. And that's because I have two different elements. I have a wave sequence where it's smoothly cross-fading between all these different sounds. That's because this CC Writer is doing a triangle waveform. And then down here on a knob, I have it switching between 4 layers, the master volume of each plugin, to fade in and out. So that is something we could not do before. I'm switching, and I'm not using the volume because volume has a little stepping because Unify, it's not as smooth as what we can do inside of an actual plugin for the way that it's handling the data and so forth. So inside of Guru Sampler, if you modulate this volume right here, it's smooth as silk. No glitchy, no clicks, no any of the artifacts and stuff like that. So you can modulate parameters inside of the plugins and do this type of thing. Now layer B, right here, the second element, I have a couple things happening. This is controlling the LFO speed, but I also have a sequenced wave sequence using Polybox, where each note advances it to the next MIDI layer. How can you slow down the rhythm? That would be over here on the transport page. Slows it down. Put the two together and so Unify 1.9 has CC Writer doing real-time modulation to any parameter inside of the I'll show you how it works. So maybe let's do this. Let's take a, well, I've got a couple patches, what I call ready to go in the template section. Call this up and there's 4 CC Writers and a Unify layer. You double click the Unify layer and I have instructions. If you go to the save page, you can read the instructions right here on how to set this up. But right here, the 4 CCs are dancing and they're changing some parameters, but you could open up each one of these and delete the parameters, and now it's completely fresh. Let's go over here and say delete this and go to this one and delete this. So instead of this Guru sampler, I could go over here to, let's say massive, because this shows off another cool feature inside of Unify 1.9. We are loading massive, which is not Intel. It should not be working. As a VST plugin inside of a native ARM Apple computer. But we have, Shane has come up with a really cool bridging technology that he's implemented so that we can load VST2 and VST3 plugins into Unify, even when it's running purely native, not in Rosetta mode. So Massive is here. I could, let's see if I go to the presets and go to like here. Let me find something that sustains. And I have a pulse happening, so let's go over here. Pump house right here is pumping, so let's say nope. Okay, so this Massive, this is, let's see, not MIDI CC'd. So we could say, let's see, they don't have a way to define, well, let's say MIDI. Let's see, this might be, well, let's do it this way. Instead of that way, we can go actually just straight to the parameters instead of needing to assign a macro knob. So I can go over here to Uniwrap, which is what's showing us all of the parameters inside of Massive. And I could go, there's the macro. So I could say macro 1. And for this one here, it's doing some sort of a pulsing thing. We can go over here to instrument, macro 2. And now if I look at Massive, these knobs are playing. So you can modulate any parameter of any effect now. If I wanted to have this same one also do the reverb, I could just go over here and say assign to auxiliary send 1. Now I have reverb. And bring it like this, so it's, you know, so that is pretty fun to be able to do that inside of Unify with any parameter inside of Unify plus any parameter inside of your plugins. We now have improved Apple ARM support. So if we go to an existing library that is like, say, the Absinthe, here's a really cool plugin, no longer available from Native Instruments, but if you have it, it works, but not in Intel mode because they're not updating it. Here it is, loaded into Unify. And because of the technology chain developed, we're able to load it, including the patches that were made for it or for FM8, all these different things can just be loaded. Yes, messing with panning, it was easy peasy. Let's say, for example, one of the other things that we did that's really fun, say you take a patch like this and you go, I want to use CC Writer on this patch. And it's a single layer, so it's really easy. We have a new option right here that says move into new embedded Unify. And let's make this even a little bit more complex. Let's add a silky chorus. And then let's add like a delay, like Chow Matrix. Let's have it be some sort of a cool. And let's have the pitch on some of these be nice and crazy because we can do such things. So I have this patch. Everything's on one layer, right? So when I go over here and say move into an embedded Unify, boom. It takes and copies all those effects, sticks them into a Unify layer, and turns off the effects at the top so that they're gone. So I open this up, and now these are in here, and now they're ready to be played with. All I have to do is go over here and say add a CC Writer, which is right here under Creative. So you click the little yellow plus, go Unify Standard, Creative, CC Writer. And this is set by default to a triangle waveform and MIDI CC 20. So there's one other step you have to do. Inside of this embedded Unify, go to the knobs, go to the knob that's not assigned to anything, and just right click and say assign this to CC 20. And just like that, it starts to wiggle. It's now dancing. And I could, as was mentioned a minute ago, go to the link parameters. I could say instrument 1, pan position. Now it's pan. And if I want to make it really interesting, let's duplicate this layer. And let's go over here to our link parameters. And let's say, let's make another one. That's for layer 2 pan position. And then let's invert it. So it's the opposite. So now you have this subtle stereo imaging. Change the curvature to make it even more dramatic. So the ability to modulate anything. At the same time it's doing this, I could go into these layers and I could go to the Y, and I could go over here and I could also go to this one here and have it modulate the X or the X on both. So any parameter inside of any plugin, go to the effects. I want the chorus wet dry mix to be played with. This is for layer 1. I now have the ability to just say duplicate this to layer 2. And now both of them have the wet dry mix. So the ability to modulate, I could keep going. I could have a list that was 25 things being modulated by this one source. Again, every one can be different curves, different starting points, different ending points, and click and drag to change the curvatures. So the power of this is truly something we haven't seen before. This reminds me a lot of when I did the Z1 for Korg, like 20 years ago. A knob could have all these parameters in different starting points, intensities, different curvatures. This is very much like that, but to any parameter in any of your software synthesizer plugins in real time. So I'm doing all this stuff in real time. It's truly a level of power mortal humans should not have. Let's say for fun, I wanted to go over here and go to EQ and go to Filter Max. Let's say I want a low pass filter. I want to do that kind of stuff, right? I can use the same CC writer, or let's say I want to use a different CC writer to do a pulse. So you just go over here, go Unify Standard, Creative, CC writer, click the wave shape, go to presets, and you have all of the, now I added divided steps as these were something that were available for the knobs, but now they're available as an LFO shape. We're not going to use those. We're going to use just a saw down and change the curve to be a little bit stronger pulse. And I want it to be a little bit faster. So we'll say like an eighth note, bum, bum, like that. Open back this up, go to the knobs. And because, let's see, I need one more thing. I don't want to be CC writer 20. I want it to be CC writer sent to a different CC number than the first one. So I say CC 21 for this one. You can use any MIDI CC number you want. Go over here. Now I need to just right click on this knob and assign it to CC 21. And there it is. It's doing its own shape. Here, let's get this. This is Chemistry 101. So let's go like that and like this. So we now have these two CC writers dancing away, doing their thing. And I can go over here and I can say link parameters. I want the full range to start with, and I'll go from there. I'm going to go to the master layer, effect, filter max, filter frequency. And let's reverse it. There. And not only that, but check this out. Once you have this set up, you can go back to the top layer. These aren't set up right now, but let's go to like page 3. Oh my gosh, I got carried away. Let's say CC writer 1 depth and CC writer 1 rate. And the really ones I want to mess with, actually, one is doing its own thing. We're not going to really hear that, but that LFO is gonna. So let's go to CC writer 2. I'm going to name these to CC writer 2 just to be clear. And I can go to link parameters. I can go empty unify. I want to go to the MIDI effects, and here they are, CC writer, and you have two parameters, beat and depth. So depth. Oh, I think I set this up wrong. So let's go link parameters. Yeah, I used 1, so MIDI effect 2. You can double click to change it there. So I can do stuff like that. I can also have, if I wanted to get really carried away, like for this example, I would want to go over here to the knobs, and I'd want another knob that's filter cutoff. And I would hold down Option and click and go here to Master Effect, Filter Cutoff, Filter Frequency. And now I could go back up here to this depth. And as let's say I want this to be right there. And then as it comes up, now I can go here and hit the plus button, go to Empty Unify, to the MIDI effects. Actually, I want to go to Unify here, to the cutoff. Have it start there. Oh, I can't do that. We can't do multiples to the same thing. Okay, sorry. It's not a synthesizer in the true terms of it being able to be gain stage, like in a synthesizer. If CC Writer is doing something, it's best not to use another knob to change that parameter because you can't do it. I was mistaken. If I bring in the filter cutoff, it's up for a second, and then this CC Writer updates and grabs it. So, but I could change the rate. So let's go over here. Second knob, instrument, MIDI effect, CC Writer number 2, beat division, and now slow, really slow, fast, right? Now maybe in this case, maybe we would I might want a little bit of an impact up here, just so when it comes up, it's really strong. It's all fun trial and error to get things to work the way you want it to work. But look what's happening. So, real-time modulation is now possible, and it's fun to play with. Wondering why the knobs don't dance for me. I have all the new patches, double checking the CCs. CC Writer controls, yes. So if you add CC Writer in the wrong place, that's why it's a concept that takes a minute to understand. If you go over here and you add a CC Writer right here and try to control, it won't work. It has to be where you embed it into a Unify layer, and then you can add a CC Writer that's talking to this layer. You got a picture of each of these Unify plugins is a separate bubble with its own CC universe. And this first Unify, if I call up a patch, like this is this top universe. CC Writer inside of this universe isn't going to be able to talk to this plugin. That's why we added this tool right here, move into a new Unify, embedded Unify, because that will move something into its own little orbit. The other way to do this, if you're working from a complex patch and you want to do this, is you can right click and say load it into a new Unify layer to start. And that way it will load the whole thing no matter how complex it is for you to work with. For example, let's go to the factory patches. That's why I wanted to spend some time in this live stream talking about this, because it is a deep concept how it's working. Let's find something that's here like this. Let's say I want to modulate. Let's go to a pad, where you can hear things that are not just going to attack and go away. So let's go, maybe a key, something. Pads work the best because there's just bright stuff going. So let's find a patch. Here we go. Okay, I want to load this. I found it. I want to load it in. So there's a couple tricks. Hold down Option and Alt and click Init. That gets rid of everything but the first layer. Now right click and say load this into a new Unify layer. And now you can Option delete that thing that when you initialized, because you just want one Unify layer inside of here. And now I could add a CC Writer here, Creative, CC Writer. And now when I go into this Unify layer, if I go to a knob, If I right click and I say assign to CC20, boom, it's dancing. And at that point, I can now go to the link parameters and I can assign it to any of the parameters inside of this plugin. That means all 4 layers, all of these effects, all these master effects can be modulated, but it has to be inside of a Unify layer outside of the original Unify. It's a kind of heavy concept. Yeah, you get it, right. So that's the trick. The trick is you need a that's this wonderful thing. I must say thank you to Airwave for back in the day when we were doing the Unify factory voicing. He came to the NAMM show and he had patches where he had embedded the Unify plugin, the VST plugin, into the Unify plugin, which we hadn't thought about. And that opened up the door that has led to all of these creative, incredible possibilities. So it's really wonderful, but it has to be a Unify layer that's removed from the original Unify. And then we're able to talk to that universe because this Unify has its own knobs, its own CC universe, which is different. And the nice thing with this, the top layer of Unify, when you're calling these up, these CC assignments that you set up are remembered. Every time you change a patch, they stay because they're global for the whole Unify plugin. No matter you call it up in DAW, call it a standalone, whatever, these CCs are consistent and stay the same. Now, if I wanted to go, let's say, to another pad, let's go to a BPM pad. That'd be fun to play with. BPM pad. And so say that you, if you wanted, you could hit init, go over here and say Unify as the actual plugin that you want. And now you can surf and find the patch that you want from all your libraries. Let's go back to just the standard library, BPM pads. And this way you don't have to do that weird thing I was showing you with like option resetting and all that kind of stuff. Now you're inside of a Unify layer. I have this whole thing going on. If I want something that's going to affect everybody, that's what the master effect slots are for. So we could go over here. We could say, just to show you, filter max. Right? Say I want to do something like that. All you do is go to this top layer, say add a creative CC writer. Notice it's MIDI CC20, right? So we'll put this up here so we can get access to, open up this Unify layer, go to the knobs, go to a knob that's not assigned, right click and say assign to 20. If you want, I could say right click in this and assign this to 20. I could go to the guitar volume and I could assign this to 20. Anything that's set up as assignments works. And I could go over here to the filter cutoff of the master. So you go master, effect, filter max, filter frequency. You can even add things so that this one here, this is some of the stuff I love is where you have it just come up for its little spikes, like it's nice and calm. And we could also assign to the master resonance. So all sorts of possibilities like this. It's that easy to set up. And all these knobs, I could right click and say all of them do 20. And once I've done that, it's really fun. I could say maybe I want the guitar volume to be a different, so I could say assign this to CC21. Go over here, add a new CC writer, and say 21. And then let's say this one here, we want to have a different curve. So we can say saw down. We want it to be faster. There. So I can get all sorts of dancing, animated, rhythmic things happening. There's no limit to how many CC writers you can do. There's 32 macro knobs inside of this Unify layer. All 32 could be assigned to different CC writers doing different CC numbers and different shapes. I mean, the possibilities are super powerful. So hope that helps explain that. So anyway, with Unify 1.9, the big additions are CC writer, the improved Apple silicone support. One thing to do if you want, you don't have to, but you can set up duplicates of a plugin in Mac or application on your Mac computer. If you use, you actually don't have to do this with Unify now. It used to be that if I wanted to run certain, like Massive or something, I had to use a Rosetta version of Unify. I don't have to do that anymore, but if you wanted to, you can actually, let's see, show you in the Finder. If you duplicate the same plugin, rename it, and then get information on this, here's where the Rosetta mode is enabled or disabled. So I had at one point, again, you don't need to do this anymore because Unify is able to just automatically load everybody behind the scenes. But in the past, some people use Logic and they want to use other plugins that are not available. You could duplicate Logic and then have one where you get information and set it to be in Rosetta, and then another version that's native. Just a little tip there. So anyway, so is there a way to make the particular, is there a way to make the changes to be random? Not really. No, not at this point. We're not to that, this is the first introduction of this. It's kind of an LFO. It re-triggers. There's no, it's not an LFO like an LFO. It's a MIDI LFO that plays on downbeats. You can turn off downbeat because it's following clock. So if I say change this to manual start and stop, now it doesn't reset. If you're playing it in your DAW and your DAW is running, I don't think it's going to reset then. Again, this is kind of new territory for us. We like to release these things and then work with them. And sometimes we're learning as we go. That's just kind of how it works when you do things the way we do it. So it can't do a true LFO. You could make it be, different shapes and stuff like that, but it is going to be repetitive. I mean, if you wanted to, you could go to the presets, numbered presets. You could say 64 steps, which it's really hard to edit. But yeah, you wouldn't want to edit that. So there's, I don't think a random is going to be truly possible with this right now. But be needing more macros soon. Yeah, it gets really addicting once you start doing this kind of stuff. Most synthesizers, you're lucky if they give you 4 LFOs. In this, you can have 32 LFOs playing 32 different macro knobs that are set up to an unlimited number of parameters. You could truly create truly massive things. But I do wish we had random, but we're just happy right now that we're doing what we're doing. So hopefully this helps. Any hardware suggestions for Unify? They all work. Anything that sends MIDI CC. I've got a little Korg Nano control here. Some around here. I don't have it in front of me, but Native Instruments makes a really cool thing called the Machine Jam. They don't make it anymore, I don't believe, but I think you can find them on eBay. They're great because you can move them and they remember their locations and stuff like that. Stefan, what are you? What's going on here, Stefan? Yes, so Stefan, Unify is as simple as going to this and calling up patches and playing. That's the start. I'm showing some new features. If you don't want to, I'm here to show you and teach all these people how to use some of these new things that we've added. But it's as easy. Call them up and play. If that's all you want to do, Unify can do that very easily. There's 640 patches that you can just enjoy. I'm showing a new addition that we added to give Unify an ability that is found in synthesizers. We've done it in a way that's more complex. So don't ding us for trying to show Unify works for everything. So it's simple. You don't have to get into the stuff that I'm showing right now. If you don't want to, you can just play it and enjoy. If we're doing basic for a second, just let me point out for those that might be just joining, one of the wonderful things with Unify is that we can load multiple patches just by changing our mode to Unify layer. I could go up here to BPM pads. There's all sorts of really lovely pads. I could say chord dancer, and I want to add another patch. Let's have reflective moments. 3 clicks, and I have something really crazy going on. So it can be very, very simple. But I'm showing some of the more cool, unique things that we can now do that we haven't been able to do. Speaking of that, let me show you the new library, because say I want a bass on this. Let's go right click on each of the bottom note range and hit C. And just like that, I have made a split. So I have the top range, but down low, there's no sound. So we could go over here to the new library, which is cutting edge Synth Bass. And I have all these 176 bass patches. I could say, give me something like, I've got some really, really cool Pure Magic depths. And let's say I want this to stop here, and if I want to get carried away, I could say duplicate this layer, open this up, and let's find another bass. So because it's cutting edge, we have some new basses like those found in like Razor. Sub basses, even Serum. Go old school with the TB303. I like that. So I layered 2 new bass patches for the left hand, and the right hand is from the factory library. Really, really, really fun. So I'm going to set this just to normal mode. This is a library that goes all over the place of basses. Everybody needs new basses. We have both old, new basses. I kind of wanted to like celebrate all the different chapters of bass. So there's a whole bunch of FM basses. Some of them are really, really famous, like Take My Breath Away. For that song, if you want a little Howard Jones. Dum, dum. And these are created with DX, so they are not samples, which means that when you play them, I can even edit them. Customize them to my own personal tastes. So the FM ones are using DX, because DX is included with Unify. Then you get down here to Moog. I sampled both my Moog, this is the mother. Moog Mother 32 Sawtooth, or my Voyager, which is right here. The thicker bladder Sawtooth. I have a mono poly from Behringer right here. I sampled all 4 oscillators screaming. I sampled Razor, which is a wonderful software synth from, it's an ensemble for Reactor from Native Instruments. And it's just got really, really cool sounds. All your bass that belong to us. Right? Everything's looped. It has a cool motion in it. Right? Then subs from Sublab, I mean, serious low end. Just hits you right on the, right? Then Serum. And if you own a Korg Wave State, Korg licensed a lot of these Serum samples that I created for the Wave State. So the TB303. These are velocity. The VS means velocity switching, so the soft and the hard. Hi, Tim. Welcome, my friend. Right? Then there's all sorts of effects. So if you're really that kind of stuff, you'll big falls, rising. Now we get into the BPM stuff. These are really fun. This is using things like CC Writer with custom shapes. As you can hear, when it's up, it's at the low point. When it's down, it's up. So So you can control the shape to be exactly what you want. Like if I want this to be slower, you can control this curvature, and it controls the shape of how it's going through the filter cutoff sweep. There's all sorts. And then down here, there's bass patches, but we'll get those into a minute. Then you get to really crazy stuff, the Black Sheep and so forth. This is putting all those Serum samples, those Razor samples. And if you get down to the grooves, do I have a Black Sheep? I didn't do Black Sheep. Let's say Cyborg and the Trees. Right? So if we go down here to the groove, this has a drum groove is built up. There's both. The groove means I've added a drum groove to the bass part. So these exist both as a BPM bass. So if you go over here to like Dark Lab No Orbit, there's a Dark Lab No Orbit groove, which has I did some TB303 things because it's really fun to get into the. So all the LFOs are doing all sorts of squelchy things to the sounds, bringing up distortions, all sorts of really fun things you can study. Here's splashes of reverb on the downbeats. Wacky switcher. And then to round it out, I included a dubstep drum kit from So there's like 10 kicks, 7 kicks, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or 10 snares, claps. If you get up here to the BPM drum, there's grooves that I created, which you could go over here, you could say, give me Sabertooth BPM, load into new thematic layer, and right? Fun stuff like that to play with. So it's kind of a cool, all-encompassing library from TB303 to FM to analog, Razor, Serum, Sublab, all in one library. Right? And remember, this is dubstep made by a 58-year-old guy. So you 20-year-olds out there who have fun doing all sorts of different things with these samples. I'm really proud of myself for being able to get to this point. Overload, this is for the... Should be faster. So if you like that kind of stuff, we can do that type of thing. So all sorts of places to go. Let's get that off. Let's add a TB302 to this. Thank you, V-Rogue. Yeah. Also, I should point out this is a new library that, because it's Halloween coming up, because there's a Synthplex event in Los Angeles next week, I'm giving you guys this library at 50% off from day one. So, Bradfordian asks, will there ever be a everything bundle for Unify as a single purchase? Probably bundles later this year. I'm thinking for Black Friday and stuff, I'll do some bundles of Unify libraries. I don't have a complex enough website to track. I don't have another web designer person that does all that kind of organizational, and I'm using an e-commerce company that is very limited in what I can do, unfortunately. So it's not as advanced as I wish, but it's just me doing this. So I do my best, but we will have some bundles later this year. Crazy stuff. So all the BPM experimental stuff. Let's say Dub Trapper. Actually, it's slow to Dub Trapper. C. Yeah. You need this. Oh my gosh. It's really, really fun stuff. No doubt about it. So if you want, also just to point out, like the TB303 patches all have MIDI files ready to go, just muted. So you can go like that. Now, this library is more focused on the dubstep grooves at this point. I will tell you that probably after the sale is over, because I love to do that. I love to give content after the sale is over, so that, but I'm going to be releasing probably an update of additional patches that I'm going to make between now and the next couple weeks for this library. Just to do more. There's so much to do. There's so many places to go. Combining FM with TB and Sublab and having it do all sorts of switching of those elements would be really, 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 really fun. But there's a ton here to sink your teeth into and have some. And the low end is just beautiful. This works really great with other libraries. We could go to like, even like Cloud City. Let's go to the BPM percussion. Back to the World Percussion kit here. Go to the drums. Let's add some grooves here. Right click on a couple. Homie, it's supposed to be. I think that. There we go. So yeah. And then go back to the bass library and let's add a dubstep groove on top of that. So BPM drum. Let's put a nice reverb on the whole thing. Put a reverb. There you go. So it's so fun to just, I mean, I just sit here and play with the different libraries and you go so many places so easily. Have we been able to pass CC messages through Korg Wave State or OP6 VSTs? We can talk to the plugin versions of the Wave State and OP6, but I don't think that there's no transfer outside of Unify. I just want to clarify just a couple things. We do these free updates giving you MIDI effects to support the libraries. So if you love the support and these types of things that happen, these free updates, we've done free updates for 2 years. The hope and the desire is that you will buy libraries because that's how we pay our bills and survive. So if you enjoy what you're hearing, please buy Unify. And then we make it super affordable so everybody can afford this in South America and other countries where, you know, people can, a lot of people have just $79 is nothing, but there's a lot of places in the world where $79 is a huge amount of money. And so we made Unify affordable, thinking of the world to make it affordable. And then the hope is that people will buy libraries for Unify because they expand what you can do. The 1.9 update is released as a free update supporting this library. So please realize that and buy these libraries. That's how we pay our bills and survive. So we do have plans for future versions that will be paid upgrades of Unify. Those will take time to develop. Shane, our wonderful person you see typing like a madman in the chat to everybody, this is his baby. This is his software, and it's just him doing this. I'm supporting him. I'm making the libraries to support this, but we don't have a team of people that are doing so. It takes a lot of work. It took us, I think, something like 7 or 8 months to go from Unify 1.8 to 1.9. There could be 1.10. There could be a Unify 1.11. 1.9 doesn't mean 2.0. Just so we're clear there too. We're not, 1.9 doesn't mean that around the corner is 2.0 because that's not how we are doing things. But please buy these libraries. So show your support. That keeps us doing the development to make more things. So I'll buy 2. Thank you, Carol. Very appreciated. Implementing super chats into your live stream. That way people can give you. Yeah, I don't want to do that. I thought about the super tips. I don't want people sending me money. I want you to buy the libraries at the website. There's other people that are producers. Matthias Sauer, Tim Dale, who's in our chat, Jason Schopfer. Those guys get royalties. I pay them royalties for the library sales. I don't want it being money just sent to me. It's not just money for me. So I will never do the super chat thing. I'm not, I know gamers that do that and stuff like that, and you pay them while they kill bosses and things. I'm not into that. I have over 80 libraries at my website. There's more than enough libraries to buy. It's a win-win. You get libraries. It's not just giving you, I don't want you just giving me money. I'm not in that situation. That's not what this is about. I make products for all sorts of plugins that make them better than they are out of the box. So buy those libraries, and thank you from the bottom of my heart. From Shane, he says thank you. 3 years actually. So our business model is making money by selling products. I don't want people just sending us money. We don't need that. So these libraries keep on the cutting edge. It's just a thought. No, I've thought about it too. I appreciate the suggestion, but with the number of you guys that have bought 20, 30 libraries from our website, I thank you. We love what we do. We're in a unique situation where we can do what we love and earn enough to pay our bills and keep surviving. Nobody's bought a Tesla. Nobody's bought a new house off. You don't get in the music business to make money, but we were able to stay alive and survive and sort of thrive. But we'll get there. But we love what we do. Being able to come up with new ideas with what to do with sound, nothing makes me happier. So I want to keep doing that. Thank you guys. So yeah, I know. There's all but that's why we have libraries. Shane gets paid a royalty on all the Unify libraries that are sold. So I try to take care of everybody the best that I can based on the business done at the website. So, I mean, started the website in 2009 and we just passed $2.75 million in sales in like 23 years or something like that. 2009 to 10, like 14 years. How's that? I'm terrible at math, but it's been a blessing. I've been able to help a lot of producers make money around the world. It's great. So just want to say that I thank and appreciate all of you for your business but it's a win-win. You're getting fun, new creative content. It's not just throwing money away. So many of these things that I see that people are promoting on Facebook are just, I won't say anything, but there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't give you back anywhere close to what we were trying to give you guys in cool sounds. Yes. Tim, I thank you so much. If you go to the factory library in the, I think 1.8 update or something like that, Tim Dale made some patches. All the TD patches here are great. He has his own libraries. I think he's working on another library for Unify. Really cool stuff. Matthew Sauer has some cool libraries. He's working on a new one that's really, really amazing. And oh right, Fred. For now. Yeah, Fred Nongot did a really wonderful Diva library. So there's all sorts of fun stuff going on. So we're blessed to do what we love to do and be able to keep our doors open and live in my house. And I'm very thankful. So, thank you. So, okay, well, so that's the premieres. We got Unify 1.9 and we've got a new library of really, really beautiful basses all over the place. It's on the cutting edge vibe. But we also do I love this retro squiggly line. That vibe is just so fun to work with. Now, if I wanted to play with this, add something to it, let's do this. Let's go beep, beep, bass, TB. Let's go just to the basses, to the TB basses. Let's add this. It's a new Unify layer. Actually, I can probably just pop that out. No, I can't. Go away. Do it one more time. So into Unify layer because it's got the MIDI effect on a separate layer. So go. Load in a Unify layer. Then go over here and go through the MIDI effect. There's MIDI files there's a ton of MIDI files for all these different bass lines. So you can get over here to go to like 24 steps up. Let's see, we got a delay right here on 2. There's a noise box right here. Maybe fun. here's the key to figuring out what you want to use a CC writer on. Call up and play something and move parameters till you find what does something interesting. Like that would be fun to modulate. So this is the pre-filter frequency, right? So this is this layer here. So we go CC writer, add that CC writer, and then let's move that up here so I can access it really quickly if I need to. Go to Unify, go to the knobs. Now this filter cutoff, what is this controlling? Let's do this. Let's initialize this and then right click and assign this to CC20 so it's dancing. Go to link parameters. And now we need to just find this instrument. This is instrument layer 1. Go to the effects. Here's noise box, pre-filter freak. Now it's going too far. I don't want it to go so far. So I'm gonna, when I click this, it stops modulating so I can hear it. I want to start like right there. And I want to get to the lower stuff sooner, so I'm going to click and drag to favor the lower range. Now, if I want to, I could duplicate this layer just by going duplicate. It's all hooked up. Let's transpose this up 7. Pan it left and right. And inside this Unify layer, if I wanted, I could go to any other library and load another patch. So I could even go to Evil Razor. And let's say we want to add a Morpho Cordo. I have no idea what this is going to do. Let's say load just instrument layer 1. And boom, takes a second to load reactor. Notice reactor, when it's in green with brackets, that means that we're using our cool kind of bridging technology to load reactor, which normally wouldn't be able to load because it can't load into a native Mac with the new Apple Silicon processors. And maybe I want this volume to be modulated so that it's doing something fun. In this case, I would probably, because it's just sitting there, right? It needs to be a rhythmic thing and get out of the way after it plays for a minute. So let's do this. Let's initialize this knob. And I'm going to go surfing inside of Razor. See if I can find, there's a mix volume for the mixer itself. But if I go here, oh, okay, we're not going to do it that way. We'll just use mix level for now. And then we go over here and we assign this to CC21. And then we just need to go to this area right here and say, give me another CC writer, creative, CC writer, and then change this to be CC21. And the volume's doing that. I want it to be a different shape. I want it to be a pulse. So we're going to say saw down. And I want it to be faster, so we go to the beat. Now, maybe I want to mix up the rhythm. I went bum, 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 ba-da, bum, bum, bum. So if you want to do that, we have a really cool folder here of numbered pulses. Let's say we do 8 steps down, and now it's going to be really fast. So let's slow this down to be like, I want to be one step faster. So I'm going to delete. That's a little bit better. And I want to transpose it up an octave. So just go here and go up an octave. And let's duplicate this. And let's transpose it up another fifth. So we go 19 like this. Now I need this macro knob to control this new layer. So we just got to go down here to our link parameters. I already have one. I need the next layer. So I can just go over here and say duplicate plus one. Boom. I could even deviate each one a little bit. And then I need a huge sub bass in here. So let's go cutting edge bass. Let's go to like one of these cool sub labs. Like I really love scratchy. So say load this into just the instrument one. Right? And I'm killing my output, so I'm gonna hold down Option Alt and turn everybody down a little bit. It's that easy to play. And yeah, you have these kind of tools in your DAW, but you can't take your DAW and play it real time like this. And say this is a patch and then load this whole thing with everything going on into a single layer. So okay, so and again, I could go over here just to show you how fun it is. Let's call this up and say instrument 4, MIDI Effect, CC Writer, depth. Actually, I'm going to do it to 3, 4, MIDI Effect, depth. And then this is one of those things where I'm going to go over here and say duplicate because it's MIDI Effect MIDI Effect 1. Oh, wait, did it wrong. Copy this. I love the fact that we can type in and do things this way. So 1. So now there's no MIDI effect. So we took CC Writer totally out when the slider is down. So this is CC Writer depth. And maybe I want the sublab bass to be something that can come in the future. It's inside of this unified layer. That means I need to set it up to a knob here first. So I could go over here. Let's go to, this says sublab volume, right? But it's currently not doing what I want. So remove those and instead go here, instrument, sublab, mix level. This little line across tells you where it's currently at, which is minus 5.5. If you click this, you can double click right here and say minus 5.5. Boom. Now I can go back to this top layer, call this sublab, bass, and go over here to your link parameters. You want the full range of the knob because it's a knob inside of a Unify layer. Instrument, This is it. Go to Unify and find sub volume. And there it is. So now I can have it down. So I can start without it. Then we're ready. Right? Is that fun? And if you wanted to have the sublab do something fun, instead of just sitting there, go over here, Unify Standard, you could add Blue ARP or MIDI box. Let's say MIDI box. Let's go to the standard library, and I have some bass sequences. So you go here to your folders and say melodic bass MIDI files. These are all MIDI files with melodies and stuff. So and let's solo it for a second so we hear what we're doing. Now it's dancing. So without, and then add. And I could spend all day just customizing this to the day. I mean, let's get this to snap a little bit more. So we can go dynamics, enforcer, bring up the ratio, bring down the threshold, and crank the gain. There. Right? So I can't wait to be at this trade at Synthplex. I'm just going to sit and make crazy stuff all day long. I'll be deaf by the end of the day. So anyway, so buy some libraries. That's how you can say thank you. Update to Unify. It's a free update. We do have Unify 1.9.1 is what we call this, because we're going to be updating the demo version to 1.9. And we've learned from experience that some computers don't like it if you have you Macarena. Yay, Macarena. That's funny, Jim. Thank you. But the demo version, I think sometime this week we will probably get the demo version to 1.9 in the next week or two. And then they will be able to have the demo version, which has these features for you to play with. That's 1.9.0. So that way, if you try the demo, you have a good time, you want the new version, it's 1.9.1. That way we make sure everything gets updated. So that way it updates everything. We've learned such crazy things you have to do to make things work. Anyway, any questions from anybody? I thank you all for your support. Very, very fun to hang out with you guys. There probably will not be a live stream next week. I will be in Los Angeles, in Burbank. I will be showing Unify. at the Synthplex event in Burbank at the Burbank Marriott. We'll see. I might see Eric if he says hello. Good. We need a solo from here. That'd be fun. Let's do our shout outs. So shout out from Portland, Oregon. We finally got rain. It's been like 3 months without rain. And the last 24 hours, we've gotten a pretty good amount of rain. Shout out from... Yeah, we'll be in Burbank, Taylor and myself. The Synthplex event is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So, hey, Eric, good to see you from the Netherlands. Shane shouting out from his new home in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Thank you, Shane. It's very, very fun to work with you as always. It's a pleasure. Taylor, wherever you are, thank you for your help and support. All you guys in Seattle, yeah, we finally got rain. It's been like 3 months without rain. All the trees here in the Northwest have been really, really sad. Yeah, so it's a free update for 1.9.1. Sorry. Yeah, live stream for a few minutes from Synthfest. We might. I'll see what the reception's like. Usually when you get into these buildings, they don't have very good reception, but if they do, there's Taylor. Talk about an adventure. Taylor and I are going to be driving. It's a 2-day drive from Portland to Los Angeles in my little car. We've been wearing our Plug-in Guru lab jackets at the show. It'll be really, really fun. My gosh, Chicago, Houston, Raleigh, North Carolina. Good to see you, Bill. I'm glad you could join us for a live stream. Oh, thank you, Stefan. It's really fun. We're enjoying what we're doing. Thank you, Daniela. Again, if you can leave a comment or a review for the libraries that you buy, I've set it up now. I figured out how to get you guys a little additional discount for your next purchase. So please do some reviews. Let me know if the review gives you the discount or not. Are there Plug-in Guru t-shirts? There will be t-shirts at some point. Looking into that. We'll figure it out. God, this groove came out great. We need reverb to come up on the... Anyway, I could keep, as you can see, if you've played some of these patches that I've made, I spend way too much time making these things. So, Guru Nation, we might, or at least the big Plug-in Guru logo on the front, something like that, you know. Thank you, Jacobo, for joining. It's nice to see you, all of you. We will see you in 2 weeks at the next live stream. And we'll have a whole bunch of other fun stuff to show you by then, I'm sure. Some fun stories, pictures from this show that's coming up. Should be fun. So thank you all again for your support. Socks. That'd be fun. All right. Be well. Keep grooving. Enjoy Unify 1.9. If you do have tech support, please give us details about your computer, your operating system, the plugin format. We get so many tech support email where people go, hey, this isn't working. And we don't have enough to go on. So when you write tech support, please do that. So CC Writer Bands. Oh my gosh. You guys are very creative. So great. Good to see you all. We'll see you in the next week. Okay.